California is making breakthroughs. Y'all know California has the massive reparations agenda happening right now, and the state leaders are actually behind the movement. So they have this reparations movement right now. They're in the process of calculating how much would actually go to people who descend from Americans who were enslaved, right? And I love what they're doing over in California. This is an Axios article, and the headline reads, California sets precedent by breaking down Black employee data by lineage. And what does that mean? Excuse me. That means that there will no longer be, in California, there will no longer be one box for Black people, or it'll say Black/African American. Pretty much for all of my life and pretty much the history of America, Blackness has been what they call flat blackness. Pretty much either if you're Black, then that includes everybody, whether you're an African American or a descendant from American slavery, or whether you're Jamaican or Haitian or Nigerian or Ghanaian or South African or Kenyan, everybody is the same. If you are Black, y'all are all the same. So why it's important in employment, and especially because California has a lot of schools, a lot of big schools. So the reason it's important, so important, is because a lot of times our country will say that we've made progress to addressing the past of racism in America, redlining, Jim Crow and all that, and they'll use the figures that we have, which will say Black people have graduated this much from college, Black people are making this much in the tech field, and making this much as lawyers and doctors and things. But what a lot of people in the ADOS and the FBA movement and different freedmen movements and different movements out there have pointed out for years is that a lot of the Black people that they're counting that are in these Ivy League schools or in these doctors' offices as doctors and physicians and things, they're not the people who were enslaved in this country. And that's not to say that it's not still a good thing that there are Black doctors, but the difference is you can't say that we are starting to make progress from the place that we came from 150 years ago if the people who were bogged down by the systems in America, if we're still in the same place and the only Black faces that you have are people from other countries that were not enslaved here. Again, that's not to say it's not a good thing that we have Black engineers from all over the world and Black doctors from all over the world. It's to say that there has not been any progress to address the problems of the people who were held back in this country through slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, the lies in Reconstruction, the violence of the KKK, and the lies of the FHA system that helped, not just the lies, but being excluded from FHA back in the early days, being excluded from getting VA home loans. That happened to us. We haven't been made whole from that, but then they come and give us these stats and say, oh no, Black people are doing amazing, right? Or doing a lot better than they used to do. Look at these numbers. And the numbers are not telling you that those are not the same Black people that all these other things happen to. So that was a long way of me saying this is a good thing that California is breaking it down, because now when you get your new tech job, you'll say, I'm a Nigerian. And that'll be a good thing. Okay, good. It's a good that a Nigerian got a job at Google. But as time goes on and we start to see, I see Nigerian, Ghanaian, Ethiopian, Ghanaian, Ethiopian, Congolese, Liberian, Haitian, Jamaican, Brazilian. So we start to realize that these are all first generation or second generation or immigrant people getting the jobs. Again, not to say it's a problem, it's to say you can't use that as any type of argument to say we are past some of the racist tendencies of America's history when the people who are the victims of that are still not able to get in the places that we couldn't get in before. Okay, let me read a little bit of this article. It says, why it matters. Advocates say the data disaggregation will help identify and address long-held inequities within Black communities. Many descendants see it as a model for other states and the federal government to follow, and I agree. I think everybody needs to do this because this is just a California thing. So I live in Atlanta, Georgia. This won't impact me right now. Not right now. and I'm sure it'll take Georgia a long time to catch on. The federal government will have to start doing it before a lot of these southern states jump onto it. How it happened. This is back into the article. How it happened. Descendants of enslaved people have said for years that disaggregating data to specify a category for descendants would benefit the community and enable more targeted services. Organizers took a page out of Asian American Advocates' book after seeing their successful effort to push the state to break down different ethnic groups and health data collection. So California is doing this for black people now, but not without precedent, because they did this for Asian people. And it's funny because they did this for Asian people before, and they didn't automatically go do it for every other group or racial group. It's like, why do you guys need to be told that this would benefit people if you already have proven that it will benefit Asians? If it will benefit Asian people, why would it not benefit every other racial group to break down ethnic groups separately so you can properly track different health information or employment information or college graduation information? Just the same reason that you found that it would be beneficial to Asian people, it should have applied to everybody else without black people having to fight for it. Whatever, at least they did it now. Okay. This says the bill was initially introduced by Assembly member Chris Holden, Democrat, but was ultimately folded into the same budget and signed into law this year. The language in the budget directs the state agencies to implement the mandate by 2024. So it'll be a couple years before we actually see it. But it's fine. Like I said, as long as it's in the pipeline, that's cool. No one is denying that black people at large are marginalized in America, said Chris Lodgson, lead organizer of the Coalition for a Just, Equitable California. But the kind of historical oppression he faces as a descendant has different consequences than the inequities more recent immigrants face, he added. A 2016 study found that in Los Angeles, the median net worth for a black descendant of enslaved people is $4,000 compared to $72,000 for recent immigrant from African continent. Wow. I need to read that again for you. A 2016 study found that in Los Angeles, the median net worth for a black descendant of enslaved people is $4,000 compared to $72,000 for a recent immigrant from the African continent. Just think about that for a second. Okay. The new disaggregation mandate would help identify disparities in income, health outcomes, career growth, and state agencies' leadership, among other things. It would also allow the state to set aside specific benefits or programs as redress, Lodgson said. You can't fix a problem until you see it, until you acknowledge it. Okay, I'm not going to read any more, but this is amazing. I love what California is doing. The reparations agenda that they have and the bill that they're working on is massive. It's amazing. It's setting the standard for every other state to follow. I don't care if it takes them 5, 10, 15 years to follow, but they will follow up. I'm sure of it. This reparations thing will happen in our lifetime. Don't worry about it. I know there's a lot of people against it right now. That's fine. That's cool. It's going to happen. But them disaggregating this data, disaggregating the racial and ethnic groups of blackness in America is about to be amazing.